I didn't even expect to be testing my FTP in this particular race, but that's how it turned out. And actually, now I come to think about it, I'm wondering if this is the best way to test your FTP on Zwift. So the day was pretty much like any other day, another race, but this time it was an ITT, an individual time trial. It was one of the stages in the Kickr Pink Tour, and I realised that this was going to take me roughly around 19 to 20 minutes. So just before I set off, I thought to myself, well, actually, this is a good opportunity to see where my FTP is going to be. Because in an ITT, there is no drafting. It's you against yourself, and you're just trying to set the best possible time that you can. So that's what I did. And let's have a look and see how I went on. So as we got underway, as you can see, it's a pretty fast start. And because it's an Kickr race, it's a mass start. Now, there's a lot of discussion, let's say, around the benefits of a mass start against the disadvantages and the fact that it can give you some draft and you can perform better as a lower category rider. But all sorts of different points of view. I actually quite like them, but you know, it's just my opinion. But in this, you're not getting the benefit of the faster riders, but you do get the benefit of having the opportunity to try for as long as you can to stay with them. And as you can see, I'm pretty much in the mix with the A group riders in the very early stages of the race, and there's a long way to go. But it gave me the motivation to stay with those A riders for as long as I could. And you can see by the watts in the top left-hand corner of the screen that they've stayed pretty high. Now I have to say, on this particular day I wasn't feeling at my best. Unfortunately, I've been suffering with a bit of a chest infection. Might have been COVID, might not entirely sure. And I was just coming out of that. About halfway through the race, I suffered a little bit of a coughing fit. Unfortunately, you can't see it because I didn't actually video myself for this race because I thought I was just going to do 20 minutes and finish it. But then I thought, oh, hang on, there's something interesting happened here. Let's jump ahead, and we're coming up to 5 minutes or so into the race. Still hanging with the A's, but remember, no drafting. I'm not getting any benefit from the A riders in this particular race. This is basically me against myself, but I'm still there or thereabouts, so it's going quite well. And as we approach the 5.5 kilometre mark, we've actually got the hill that's going to take us through almost to the end with a little downhill before the finish. So this is whereabouts you really need to push on, and whereabouts I fully expected the A riders to leave me. And of course, some of them do, but there's myself and some of the stronger B riders all still pushing to keep up and try and do our very best up this hill. And as you can see, the watts are still pretty high. And as you can see, we're sort of 10 minutes in now, and it's still a gradual climb on the flatland loop. Flatland, bit of a giveaway I suppose, but still hanging with the A's, you might say, although obviously some of them have now pulled away and are a good 20, 30, 40 seconds ahead of me. But there's myself and still a group of B riders still in the mix and still pushing as hard as we can. And I now started to think, if this race is going to be around 90 to 20 minutes, then 20 minute is, you know, the holy grail for an FTP test. And actually, if I did finish under 20 minutes, I'd keep on pushing until I got to 20 so that I could kind of set my 20-minute power output as a recorded figure, which then hopefully Zwift would take into account. Maybe or maybe not, they'd tell me if I'd improved my FTP. Coming up for 10 kilometres, as you can see, a couple of the other B riders have gone past me. I will be honest, I was feeling it here. I could feel my legs. I knew that I wasn't 100%, but still kept on pushing. And yeah, you can still see we've still got some of the A riders sort of not that far ahead. So I think as a group of B riders, we're doing really well. And the watts are still looking good. So we've crested the climb, and we've now got pretty much all downhill towards the finishing line. And I am looking for whereabouts to get my motivation from. And basically it's at the other riders. So I can see on the right hand side in the rider list that there's some B riders that are either very close, a couple have gone past me. And what I'm going to try and do is to motivate myself to finish as high up in the B riders as I possibly can. And here we are in the last kilometre and a half. And actually the rider who's with me, Fitzy, is on the same team as I am. So we are working for each other if we could in this race. Of course, we can't give each other the benefit of the draft or any kind of tow or anything, but I think we're both finding ourselves motivated by the other one to see how well we can do. And this is great because this feels like a camaraderie moment as well as a competitive moment. And with just half a kilometre to go, I've just got slightly ahead of my teammate. I can see a rider just in front of me who's actually an A rider, so I'm doing my best to try and catch him because that's given me the motivation that I need to just push over these last few meters. I didn't catch him, but I still finished pretty well. And actually, overall, in my group, in that particular race, I finished 4th, which I was really very happy with. And then Zwift said, do you want to stay here? Do you want to go? So I'm kind of like, well, I'll stay here. And my idea now, as you can see, is I'm going to keep pushing until the clock goes past that 20-minute mark. So I'm on 19 minutes and 25 seconds. I'm still pulling 350 plus watts. Although typically as you're commentating it's just dropped down below that, but anyway, trying to push as many watts as I can, and once I get past that 20-minute mark, then hopefully Zwift will give me a new FTP. So there you go, hit 20 minutes, finished it exactly on 20 minutes. I'd had enough, and actually if you look at the power output throughout the race, there's a lot of red in there. It's mainly all yellow and red, so I've really tried hard. And yeah, and I've set a 327 watt average for that 20 minutes, which for me is a really good wattage. And yeah, I'm very pleased with that as a performance. And you can see from a critical power point of view, I'm at my best. Over that 20 minutes, I've got 1 watt higher than I have done on any previous ride on Zwift. And there we go, FTP increase detected, and it's gone up by 3 watts to 315. Absolutely delighted with that. It got me to thinking, what is the best way to test your FTP? Now, I wouldn't dispute at all that ramp tests and all of those kind of things are a really good way to measure your FTP, and as you probably know, there are various ramp tests within the game that you can do. That said, I would see those as being something you do at the beginning, because let's be honest, a ramp test is horrible. It's just unpleasant. I mean, it starts off too easy. You've got this middle bit whereabouts it just hurts, and then the end bit is almost impossible. So it doesn't really in any way, I don't think, simulate a normal ride, let's say. It's purely just a measurement mechanism. Another way that you can do your FTP is to do it on a climb. But the problem with that, unless maybe you're doing the grade which is consistent, on all of the others, Alp to Zwift, you know, portals, so on and so forth, because the climb gradient varies, it's really difficult, impossible even, to maintain a cadence and a consistent power output. But an individual TT with no drafting on a flattish course allows you to do what you saw me do in the video there, and that's be consistent and to push my power over a period of time. And actually in a race environment, if there's an ITT going on, of course you can do them individually if you want, so that makes it more fun, and it doesn't feel like you're actually going out to set an FTP. But of course you could have it in the back of your mind that this would be an opportunity to do that. So I think when I look back actually at whereabouts I have had FTP increases since I've been Zwifting over the last 6 months, they've almost all been in some kind of ITT environment. So there was a group ride that I did with my team during the ZRL, kind of a training thing. And it was a group ride which was also a race. I set off and actually ended up in front and stayed in front all the way through. So no drafting, you know, no tow from anybody else, set a new FTP. There was another individual TT that I did a couple of months later. I think it was back in March time. And again, slight increase in my FTP. So for me personally, the way that I can set a new FTP in the game, which is important, isn't it? Because this is how Zwift looks at ERG mode and training and sets the amount of watts that you have to produce over a period of time. All of those things are linked to FTP. And of course, if you're ever trying to analyze some statistics in terms of your power output and, you know, how many calories you've burnt, and, you know, all of these things have some kind of link, or tenuous or otherwise, to your FTP. So setting your FTP in the game is important, that it's accurate. And I would argue, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments, maybe you completely disagree with me, but I would argue that individual TTs might just be the most fun and even, dare I say, the best way to do it. I really appreciate you watching as always, and if you like the content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.